We are live. Good afternoon. My name is Paul Bursey and welcome to healthierlife.tv. My partner is
Warren Connolly. Welcome to healthierlife.tv. Coming to you from Santander, Hungary.
He's actually not my partner.
Yeah,
but
podcast
co-presenter,
partner and business partner.
Yeah. So 10 ways to live 10 years younger. What do you think of that as a headline? Warren.
That should be 101 health in schools.
Yeah, there's a million things you can say. I mean, but I think the key really is to work towards just improving. You know, we all need to improve. Some less, some more than others.
Oh yeah, of course. But if you change these little practices throughout your life, sorry for that bit of an adjustment there. Just if you just keep consistent in changing these small little practices throughout your life, within 1 or 2 generations, if everybody was to do that, it would be such a normal thing. It would just be so. It wouldn't have to be something that, as I said, should be 101 in health in schools.
Yeah. Have you got earphones in?
No, I don't.
I know it just sounds a bit squeaky or
really
electronically squeaky.
No earphones my side. I'll put them in and let me see what happens.
Yeah, try that. I'll carry on for a minute. And anyway, it's all about life expectancy and increasing it. So, one of those ways is to go outside. As simple as that sounds, some people just don't do it. You know, our skin needs to be exposed to sunlight. Now, albeit you can get enough within 15 minutes, assuming that your hands and your face, you know, are towards the sunlight.
Yeah. Not completely covered up.
In my case, it helps if I haven't got, because I wear a hat a lot of the time. So it helps if I don't wear a hat, because obviously I've got it on my bald head. That I've just
but for a limited period of time, especially the beginning of summer, Paul, or even the beginning of spring.
Yeah. Okay.
Because otherwise your skin's going to be sensitive to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, as I say, I think we should all be using sunscreen. You know, but what people tend to do, and I've done the same, is that you only use sunscreen when you go on holiday. It sounds strange.
Or you don't.
It's not the same sun, is it?
Some just don't. And you're right in saying that. It's true. It is not the same sun. Yeah, it's depending on location to location, you're going to get a different type of sun. It could be the same time of the year, you know, and this is the thing. What I used to see, I grew up in a resort town. Now I know we're talking about getting outside and sunshine. We're perhaps deviating a little bit, but just a little quick story here, if I may. Where I grew up was in a resort town, like a small city, coastal, and we used to get British tourists, German tourists, Austrian tourists, Danish tourists coming throughout the year. But whenever they came at the beginning of summer, they looked like lobsters on the beach. After half a day, they were already turning over because they were too sore on the back or somewhere like that, their head. And after 2 days, they were literally red like lobsters because they just people forget, you know, they don't want to put the sunscreen on because they think they're not going to get a tan, but it was hilarious, especially as a teenager.
You do. I used to sell solar panels, and, you know, people used to think there had to be bright sunshine, okay? And it's a fallacy. I mean, it used to be cloudy and you'd still be getting electricity from your panels. Okay. So yeah, it's not necessarily sunlight. It's just daylight. You know, it is. I mean, it all comes from the sun, obviously. But what I'm saying is, it's important to get a little bit on your head, okay, and body. So your skin has to be exposed to the sunlight.
Even if you are taking supplements for it, you still need to get out there.
That's got nothing to do. This is extra. This is the main one.
And this was the irony living in the Middle East for 12 years where they have so much sunlight. That's one of the places with the highest or the lowest average level of vitamin D absorption on people's skin is in the Middle East, because especially traditionally, the abaya, the kandura, they're all covered up and they don't get any sunlight on their bodies. And then summertime, they're in the shade the whole time. So yeah. So get out in the sunshine, folks, especially now. It's great.
That's right. I mean, exposure triggers the cells, and and that's how vitamin D is produced. So it's very, very important. Yes, of course you can have a vitamin D supplement, but bear in mind it is a fat-soluble vitamin, and you can have too much. But generally speaking, if you keep to manufacturers' recommendations, if you're using a supplement, then you should be fine. Okay. So with that, what does vitamin D do? I mean, going outside, what does it do for you?
Before I answer that question, or anybody answers that question, I just want to read on a comment. Brian Taylor again. Thank you, Brian. He says, "Yo, Warren, your glasses are trendier than Paul's." Thank you.
Yeah, but mine is cheaper.
Well, I don't know if he's being sarcastic with that or not, because you know him, so I'm sure you'll be able to tell. Yeah,
I can't say too much. He fed me the other night, so we got to go running as well. We've got out the habit. Anyway, back to this. It's essential for bone health, which is very, very important. Would you agree?
Most definitely, as it is, and it's actually good not just for the body, but for the skin as well. And then that gets absorbed; those rays get absorbed into the bones, the nutrients from. Yeah, it's all. All
encompassing.
It is all encompassing. Just think about when you go outside.
Yeah, it helps with depression.
It does indeed.
So if you're a person who isn't not having a good mood, or you are depressed, or you're that way inclined, because we're all different, get outside more, at least 15 minutes a day, without a shadow of a doubt, and I think it's so important. If someone said to me, look, I'm feeling a bit down, and they said, well, go out in the sun and you won't feel, or maybe you won't feel, I'll go and do it.
No, you should do, because this is having lived back to the Middle East, having lived there myself for 12 years, and being fortunate enough to get outside probably more than most throughout the year, I still feel the significant difference now living in a country like Hungary, where nature is everywhere. And once the sun is out, then you're out somewhere in the park, or walking in a forest, or down by the river, or something like that. So you're out a lot in the sunshine. Yeah. And then I can feel a significant difference.
Absolutely. And it's great for heart disease, a bit of prevention there. Great for diabetes. It's easy, cheap, and it improves your health. So it's very, very important. And the great thing is it increases life expectancy, which is even better. So they reckon that 50% of adults have a low level of vitamin D. Now, could be down to diet, could be down to the fact that they don't spend any time in the sun. I don't know. So what do you reckon, Warren?
Combination of both.
Yeah.
I reckon. Yeah. I mean, just look at what people eat typically these days. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole right now. But you just look at that, and then look at the fact that more and more people are indoors more frequently, especially kids. And they become used to the habit of being indoors more than outdoors when they become adults.
Yeah, the thing is with that, this obviously the day we're in a technological age, we're all using computers and that, and the kids, some of them sit there all day on it, and that's not good in itself. But not to go out. I mean, what were we doing at the same time? Probably on our hands and knees playing in the dirt.
Most definitely in the dirt. If not on the beach, if I wasn't on the beach when I was younger, I was in the dirt. And of course, building BMX tracks in the bush and building forts, well, I didn't really build tree
Climbing
houses.
trees, making bridges over brooks and little.
Yeah, all those kind of things. Experiencing nature, sighting foxes. Yeah, so yeah, it's even came across a leopard just after it killed a buck once before in the bush.
Ah.
Now that's not something that kids do typically in South Africa, but it's something that you can experience. And a kid today just wouldn't experience that, unfortunately.
Right, so let's move on a little bit within this. Elderly people, now they tend to be left in care homes a lot of the time. We talk about the ones that are in care, and they don't get out very often. And I think it's important that they do get out. So here's a message to caregivers: if it's possible, take them out for a quarter of an hour every day if you can. I know there are different circumstances where they can't, but very important to get people out. And also, if we, the people, can assist loved ones that may be getting a little bit older and make sure that they get out for a little while, that's going to be very, very helpful to them health-wise.
Just have them present in your life, and that's it as well. Your family, it's family at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's right.
Have them present in your life, and it's just. I lived in a care home. I didn't live in a care home, but I lived with a family that owned a care home in the UK, and lived in a certain separate part of the house, and I saw that for myself firsthand.
Yeah.
And it is when they go outside and they're just enjoying just a 5-10 minute walk, the look on their faces, and the caregivers as well. They do it because they love people. So for them, it's a reward as well.
Yeah, it's a reward for everyone, but it's even better if you don't do it very often. It's
most definitely.
Also, getting out in the light helps people sleep because it triggers melatonin.
Good point.
And helps your sleep cycle. So the question is, as far as this one is concerned, is how can you help yourself and others? Let people think about that, and we'll move on to number 2.
Good. That's also a very good question. That.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Powerful question.
Yeah.
Well done, Paul.
Yes, I enjoyed that. Anyway, second thing is being with friends. Okay, just hanging out. Rather than be lonely, what loneliness can do. It's devastating for some people, and we've got to become more connected. Now, if you're dealing with someone who's a little bit older, you might have to connect for them. Okay, so you've got to look after them. It's all about positive relationships. We all need them. Yeah, so having people around, relieves the impact of stress on your health as well.
Look at cultures where the elderly are actively included in society.
Asian,
a lot of Asian, a lot of African cultures. They live to be ripe old ages, and they are healthy and strong throughout their time.
Yeah, and they're also the head of the family, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they're not necessarily just the family, but in many cases, even to today, they not head of a tribe or anything like that, but head of some kind of communal thing.
Yeah.
So you get that as well still today in African cultures, societies, and in Asia, quite predominantly, I believe, still today. This is important. It does have an effect on, also maintaining some level of autonomy once you get older is so important as well. If you once you have all your responsibilities taken away from you, you're no longer responsible for anything. So therefore, you've got nothing to really live for anymore.
Yeah, that's when decline sets in.
Yeah, most definitely. Because now
you have a reason to live.
Exactly, we all need a reason to live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, it's your time to go, and people don't want to be like an elephant where they just get left. They go die by themselves somewhere and just get left to die, kind of thing. People. I mean, elephants. They know when to go and do that. For humans, we like to hang on to life.
Yeah,
so nobody wants to just get left in a room to die. It's just you need to give them some kind of responsibility, and then people will at least be able to have something to look forward to every day.
Yeah, I think people who are engaged in meaningful relationships
Mm-hmm.
do live longer because they have better life experiences. And if you think about it logically, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, sometimes people get left in places like care homes, where they get left on their own and lonely. They've got no connections. They've got nothing to do or not enough to do, or they lose hope. That's another thing, isn't it? So,
well, we are social beings, so sociability is a key factor in terms of staying younger, living longer.
yeah,
It is. I mean, we are social beings, so it's an important factor.
yeah, and we should also look to strengthen communications and keep in contact. Because the whole thing, how I enjoy life is hearing stories. And I think that's one thing that we can do. Everyone can do. Is wherever you live, look out and see if there's anyone living on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay. Spend
Well,
5
when you see an elderly person walking down the road and you know that they live in your community, in your area, and you know that they're on their own, just greet them.
Yeah.
Just say hello to them. Give them a daily greeting or whatever, and that in itself can change someone's day like you won't believe.
Have you?
But the other thing of the community thing is, Paul, sorry, is exercise as well. This typically you're going to get into exercise when you are in a community environment of some kind. It could be a fun activity like cycling, could just be walking on a regular basis, hiking, but you're going to get outdoors again, typically, invariably. It might even be an indoor activity, but by doing that, you including another factor in terms of living a longer life, and that's exercise. You're basically killing two birds with one stone there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all these things intermingle, don't they?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, look, phoning a distant relative or friend, someone you haven't spoken to for a long time. You don't know, we don't know what type of situation they're in.
Yep.
And things change. Whereas someone you knew 5 years ago, they might have been in a thriving environment. Now, all of a sudden, they're thrust into an environment where they're on their own. So, you've got to be aware. Awareness is big of where people are.
I've taken this time now, this last year and a bit. No, actually, yeah, it's about a year now, right? Since the first started, so it's in March.
Yeah.
So approximately a year now, and I've taken that time as well to reach out to people that I typically haven't spoken to for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Just to genuinely see how they're doing, check up on them, and ask, how's the family, how's the dog, how's the cat?
Yeah.
Well, how's life treating you?
I think also it'll brighten up someone's life. Really.
You never know. Yeah.
Now we've mentioned exercise. We're not going to go into that too deeply, but we all know it's going to be better for you to exercise. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Would we all agree with that?
100%.
Absolutely. So we've got no dissenters on the right-hand side here. So
Brian commented about exposure.
Yeah, he's going to Spain. I know.
He's going to be exposing himself on June 28th.
I might go and fly over there secretly and annoy him. when he's sunbathing in his skivvies.
In his skivvies.
Yeah,
in his little budgies.
Yeah, in his budgie burglars. So anyway, we won't go any more about exercise. What about
budgies
or teeth? Is that important?
It is, because this is something that's pertaining to germs, and it also, there's something related to your heart and potentially even your brain when it comes to your teeth. Mm-hmm. But it's all regarding germs and that, and how that actually speeds up your aging process, and also because it impacts your heart and your brain.
That's right, because bacteria can get in if you got gums that are sore and bleeding and everything else. You're not taking care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
then that's where the bacteria will get in, and it can go all over the place. But one of the biggest ones is to the heart. But yes, it does. It can affect the brain as well.
Is that encephalitis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important to floss. That's all we'll say.
Yeah, it is.
And if you want to floss and you keep forgetting, put your floss with your toothbrush and your toothpaste.
Hang it on the end.
Yeah, whatever. Do it with elastic band, even if you want to. I don't know.
Stick it on the mirror in front of you.
Yeah. So it's
very like a little dongle.
Now, the next thing I was going to say, which is quite enjoyable. No, is have more sex. Yeah, it's gone quiet over there. What's going on? Oh, you're drinking. That's all right then. That's all right.
I'm drinking my cup of coffee. I like that word and coffee together.
But at least you're not stunned. Anyway, so
I'm associating that word and coffee together. I like the experience of hearing that word and drinking a cup of coffee at the same time.
Yeah,
but you're 100% right.
It doesn't take a lot of working out.
It just keeps you young at heart, young in spirit, young in mind. The flirting, it's not just having sex, because look, sex is something else. Like ejaculation is something that you shouldn't necessarily do too much in your lifetime. It's not something that you just, there's a health benefit to not sustaining, but what's the word I'm looking for? Abstaining. There are health benefits to abstaining, but at the same time,
actually, there's also good business reasons as well, and sporting reasons.
Sporting, I think that's a mythology. That's a myth.
No, I don't mean. Yeah, I don't mean. What I'm saying is, you can use the power of it. It's in Think and Grow Rich. It's called sex transmutation. What it is, you use the power of it, but not actually doing it. If you see my point.
Yes.
You can divert the energy and everything else towards other things. I think that's what it means.
I have a very good friend who practiced that last year, and he did that himself, and he just spoke about how mind-blowing that experience is. Just holding, and also in that process as well, you don't refrain from, say, flirting. If you have a sexual partner, you don't refrain from flirting and being affectionate with each other. And that's part of the process. That's because that's how you should be behaving with your partner all the time.
Yeah.
It should be an ongoing thing. It isn't always, but the more you do it, seriously, it's just, and unfortunately, so many people, when they reach my age and beyond, they just lose that, especially in today's modern society, because of all the stresses and you've been living with the same person for so many years, and you get into this routine and all that kind of stuff, and things like making love and having sex, and that just kind of falls by the wayside. Unfortunately, it becomes a luxury, and it shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't. We're not designed to kill that emotion. That's a natural emotion. You know what I mean? It's a natural desire and feeling. You just got to learn how to control it, but not to kill it off.
Yeah, there's 3 words I've got written down here. Needs more study.
Needs more study.
Okay. I think that.
So why did you put that down?
Because it does. It needs more study. In fact, I think you're starting a group to get some beta testers, Some
practical study. Now we're getting sidelined.
Good feelings, endorphins, hormones, and it's healthy as well. So there you go. What else have we got? Oh, vegetarians. How about becoming a little bit more veggie?
What about omni-veggie?
Okay, what's omni-veggie?
Well, you kind of live like an omnivore, but more veggie than meat.
Yeah, that's basically what I mean. Sorry, I didn't know that terminology.
No, it's not a terminology. I just used it now. I just came up with it in the moment. Right. I don't know if it's a term or not.
I've just been reading up on.
So it's more like paleo. So you or anything like that. Like you're just eating less meat. Mm-hmm. I like to look back, and I tell my clients think back to. There's two factors I want people to remember when they're working with me. One is, if your especially younger generation, your great-grandparents, our generation, our grandparents, if they cannot recognize the food that you have on your plate, try not to eat it. Stay away from it. as much as you possibly can. The other thing is, 10,000 years ago, we started agriculture and growing wheat and all these kind of things. Okay, and 10,000 years in the scheme of the grander scheme of things is not a very long period of time. And our bodies, this is from my knowledge that I understand. If anybody wants to correct me and they hear this, please do, because this is what I've understood for many years, is that our bodies haven't evolved enough to the point where to accept wheat and things like this. Like dairy. It's like dairy. We should not be drinking cow's milk. We're the only species that does that on a regular basis, drinks another animal's milk.
What milk do you drink?
Rice milk or oat milk.
Okay.
And we even make our own nut milk. Andrea makes nut milk. We have a machine that makes milk from nuts and rice and stuff like that, and oats.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and we buy the commercial brands as well, but it's just much healthier than dairy milk. If you're going to drink dairy milk, on a side note, no, saying if you want to drink dairy of some kind of dairy milk, drink sheep's milk. If you can, because that's the closest to, in terms of the type of milk makeup that we produce to another animal. It's the sheep. This is what another thing that I've read about before and stuff in journals. So yeah.
There's only one problem with that. You're okay until the farmer comes out with his shotgun. Right. So, yeah.
All I'm going to say is you're wearing the correct national color.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know where you're coming from. I love the Welsh.
I didn't say it,
So what else? What else can we talk about? Oh, I know. How about lowering stress? How do you lower your stress?
What's that?
Stress. I know. I have to ask. I mean, I must admit, I don't think I suffer from stress.
No, look, there are times, and in recent times, more so than has been previously, I've been getting stressed out from time to time, more so than I typically do. And when I deal with stress, I just remember to breathe. And this is something that I've taught my daughter since she was younger. She could understand and comprehend. So I get stressed, I just breathe. If Laura gets stressed, I just say to her, breathe.
I meditate.
Yeah. Then you meditate afterwards. If you're about to swear or shout or yell or hit something, you're not going to go into a state of meditation. You're going to want to breathe first, and then you can calm down enough to go into a state of meditation. But definitely, yes.
Do you know what used to de-stress me? Having a fight. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I know that. I know you're not. I know you're not, because I know it's valid. I know it's a legitimate thing. I know that. I went to school with some people like that. They were not themselves if they hadn't had a fight at least once a week.
Yeah. People didn't believe me when I said that. And I said, no, I'm talking about a proper fight. I'm not talking about a play fight.
No. Proper, yeah.
Proper fight. And
meet you in the tunnel at lunch break. Fight. Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's another story though. We can't talk about those things. So yeah, and there's lots of things you can do to de-stress. You can go and walk in and be serene and calm and collected and away from everyone. You can be walking around a lake. You could be in nature. There's loads of things you can do, but always try and do a little bit a day if you can, and you can add it to the fact that you're going out and getting vitamin D. So you can do two things at once.
Well, yeah, as I said earlier, you are killing a couple of birds with a better analogy. I don't know. You're basically encompassing a few really, really beneficial things for you to help you just to decompress and just let your body recover, heal, and regenerate. And that's what helps you to live longer, is the ability for your body to recover, heal, and regenerate.
Yes.
Because if you're constantly adding toxins to, and you're not feeding enough goodness to your body, eventually your body's going to become sick. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. If you keep feeding a saint with, information that's contrary to a saint's belief their whole life, do it long enough, they're going to start believing what you're saying. And this is exactly what happens with your body. If you keep feeding it enough toxins, and not just talking about food or drink or alcohol, I'm talking about the environment, not getting enough sunlight, not getting enough rest, sleep.
Living next door to that factory.
Living next door to the factory, living next door to the river, because you never know, there's so much going on. But again, it's, over time, that's going to cause you to get sick. So you got to start figuring it out, finding for yourself what little things can you start implementing into your life every day or every week, and new habit into your life. Keep doing it consistently over time. And within a couple of months, you'll start to notice a different you. Your energy will change, your disposition will start to shift, you'll be lighter-headed, more cognizantly aware, conscious of what's going on around you, because you start to implement these healthier habits and your body starts to be able to heal, regenerate, and your aging process slows down. Simple as that.
Yes, another area that we can talk about is, and this lies very much with stress, and that is getting health screening and testing.
Mm-hmm.
We all have things wrong with us at some stage. We get worried about maybe something on our back. It could be a little ache or pain somewhere, and sometimes you have to go to the doctors, or at least speak to a health professional. And, and testing and screening may be the answer to what your problem is. What people tend to do, though, is put it off. And that is the worst thing you can do, because, your stress and your worry and your doubt and your fears, they will multiply, a bit like when you're ill, it multiplies, doesn't it? It gets worse, and then before it gets better. And it, as I say, we do testing on our business to do with omega-3 and balance. You've got things like screening for bowel cancer, which I've actually had done. They send it out to everyone who's old, like me. And and obviously for women, they've got their breasts, they've got the cervical area. Yes, So there are lots of different things, and don't be afraid of any of these things, because you need to know if you're clear. It's very, very important.
Just peace of mind.
Yeah. Another one you can do is go to a nutritionist and have these things done. I don't know. It's quite expensive in this country, in comparison to what we don't have to pay for. And that is to go and be tested for allergies and things like that.
Okay.
So again, don't worry about things. Don't worry about what's going wrong. Go and see someone straight away. Get it dealt with. Get it out of the way so you can go back down the pub and have a pint.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about other people, but if I look back in my life and I see people that lived through pain unnecessarily.
Yeah.
I experienced that myself, just through pure sheer stubbornness. I lived with chronic hip pain for more than long enough. But I've seen other people. I don't experience it. I don't have chronic hip pain anymore. That's dealt with. Okay. But I've seen too many people live through pain through most of their lives, to the point where they just resign themselves and they live with the anger, they live with the bitterness, they live with, and then that just causes even more pain for them.
Yeah.
It just does, because it's toxic energy in your system, and you just keep feeding it, and you can't. It's relentless. You got to, and it's important to figure it out, sort it out, have someone tell you professionally what it is, and then how to deal with that and overcome it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's just being aware of things and dealing with things quickly. We all, it's like the thing is, it's like not paying a bill. You know, you haven't got the money there. You owe, let's say, £68 on a phone bill or something, and you haven't got the money, and you worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah. In comparison to your body and your life, there's no correlation between it, is there?
Well, this is the same thing about worrying about anything. What's the point in worrying about anything? If you have the power, to do something about it, then do something about it.
Yeah.
If you don't have the power to do something about it, then just don't bury your head in the sand and ignore it. But at the same time, in the same breath, there's no point in worrying about it, because what's going to happen by worrying about anything? You're going to just make the matter worse. You're going to turn a molehill into an anthill. That's all you're going to end up doing. In your head, you're going to paint this picture that's just going to blow out of proportion, and you're going to have so much fear surrounding that. You're going to just become so angst, and everything about it again is just, don't worry about it.
You don't want it building in the Krakatoa.
Well, this is what I can't understand about certain subjects that go on around us, where people get so engrossed and so connected to something that's going on around them, that they have absolutely no power over, nothing whatsoever, and yet they let that control their emotions and their actions and their decision making for themselves and their own lives. And we see this happen so much around us, and it's not healthy. It's really not. It's not good for you in the long run. And I don't see why people allow themselves to be taken over by something like that. So if you know somebody that's experiencing something like that in their lives, please share this, just as a little wake up call for them.
Right. So, anyway, excellent advice. I mean, let's move on a little bit though, and just say, turn off your TV. Why would we want to do that? Apart from it being most of it's crap.
Well, it depends. If it's subscription TV, then typically yes. Or if it's like the free national television, most definitely then yes. Look, we have a television screen, I won't lie, but we don't have TV. So we only play movies.
TV, but I've got a power lead. I've moved in October. No, 2nd of October. I've not had a telly.
Oh, that's good for you.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got your laptop.
So I've got my laptop, and I mean, I've got Netflix and things like that. But I only watch things occasionally. But which you got to have something. But the one of the reasons is because you become inactive. It's much easier to sit there and watch House of Cards on Netflix, and rather than going for a walk or a jog or something else.
I stretch when I'm watching very often. I stretch. So if I'm watching a series, especially because it's about 40 minutes to just under an hour, I have a long stretch session. So I'm limbering my body up before I go to sleep. I'm opening up those channels, energy channels. Now, this is another factor in terms of living a longer life, is being flexible and stretching regularly.
Yeah.
You're keeping the system running. You're keeping the air flowing, the oxygen going through your body, keeping the blood flowing properly, opening up all those blocked channels that are in your system from sitting all day or doing whatever you're doing all day. Even if you're active all day, you need to stretch. Allow the body to recover and regenerate again. So yeah.
Did you know the average person watches 19 hours of television per week, which equates to nearly 1,000 hours a year?
Oh man, what a waste of time.
No.
Hey, by the way, there's a nice series I want to watch after this podcast.
No, there's nothing wrong with turning it on to watch a nature series.
Yeah, it's a documentary.
But what happens is, then it goes into the stressful bit of the news. So you've got to be really picky if you are going to watch television, rather than all this.
Get rid of your cable TV type style thing. Get rid of that. You don't need that in your life.
No, that's right. I agree.
And also, you see, the thing is that the television screen slows our brainwaves down, and it's not congruent. It's the same with this, Paul.
Yeah.
It's the same with this device. This is not congruent to this. Our brain is 70% water. Your eyes are these nice, soft little mushy balls.
Oh. Sorry.
They're cute. You got cute eyes, but but if you get what I'm saying, you know, it's
Yeah.
a lot. There's a lot of liquid and water in there.
Yeah,
So
I know.
if you're sitting in front of the television, it actually slows your thinking down. You just become like a zombie.
What, the $6 million man slowed up, you know? So
Where did the $6 million man come from? Where did that
Steve
idea
Austin.
come from? Steve Austin, yeah.
Was it Lee Powers? Lee Powers. I think it was.
The actor.
Yeah.
The actor was Lee Powers, yes.
Man. Lastly, I wasn't too sure about this one, but avoiding risks.
Well, yeah, that depends.
But I would say more like unnecessary risks, maybe.
Yeah, but even then, what? Yeah, I mean, uncalculated risks, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or,
okay. Yeah, uncalculated risks. I like that one because, you know, there's adrenaline junkies out there who want to wear these wingsuits and jump off mountains and fly. And good luck to them. I'd love to have the courage to be able to do that.
But there's a lot of calculation in that. There's a lot of calculation in that.
Yeah, I know there is. Yeah, you know, but
yeah, I wouldn't say that. Don't take risks in life. I mean, that's just gonna.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to throw it out there. I just wanted to, you know.
Yeah, that's my opinion. I think that's your opinion as well. I don't know anybody else. Maybe what do you think about that?
I'm not talking about financial risk. We're talking about bodily risks.
But even financial risks is you want to take a calculated financial risk, not just a willy-nilly financial risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just like suck your thumb and go, oh, the wind's blowing in that direction. I'm gonna buy this. You know, that's not a.
Look, we've mentioned risk before, but when we were talking about risk, we were talking about young people. Because I remember when I was young, you do think you're indestructible. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah.
And when you get older, you start to become feeble. It's like, seriously, you do. I mean, you know,
you just don't move the same way in any case.
Courage suddenly starts disappearing.
Yeah, Paul. I just think I started thinking back to the first time not long ago. It was like when the way I used to drive at nighttime, sometimes with my friends on the roads, on the streets.
Yeah.
The way we used to race. I'm surprised I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worry more if it's on a motorbike, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, that is.
That's not. I'm not saying don't ride motorbikes because I think they're fantastic. You know.
Oh, they are, but but the thing is with motorbikes, there is a higher risk.
I'm really glad I didn't go down that route. I think if I was going to do anything now, it would be with a Harley Davidson. I'll be pottering along.
Yeah.
You know, definitely. But and I haven't. I don't do that. So, but the number one common cause of death in young people is accidents, injuries, and violence. So maybe we should try and avoid those if we can.
Yeah, and that's pretty broad as well. Hey, so there's a lot of activities involved there.
There is a lot of activity there.
Yeah,
it could range from nightclubs to football violence. You know, from boxing, you know, to driving like a maniac. I mean, it can go right across the board, can't it? So you got to be, as I said on Hill Street Blues, you've got to be careful out there. Oh, sorry, let's be careful out there. Yeah. So.
It reminds me of a story of when I was managing a gym in South Africa, and some poor youngster got in the gym, got basically shot through the head by accident. It was purely accidental, but just also negligence. Pistol in a gym bag, bag dropped down to the ground, round went off in the chamber, ricocheted, hit, and bounced off a totally different person. Not even associated with anybody.
You really are lucky to drop the bag and shoot yourself, wasn't it? Eh?
There was and that's just negligence. But yeah, that's how things can happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right.
But on a brighter note,
it could have put blankets in it.
We would like you folks to learn how to live life longer, and for yourself, your loved ones, and everybody else. So. What I'd like to propose is this: whoever watches this, whoever's watching here now live, and whoever's watches this video, is tell us what things that you are doing in your life today that you believe will help you live a longer life, whatever that may be, whatever that may look like. And if you aren't doing anything in your life today any related to what we spoke about, or anything else for that matter, then what do you believe you could start implementing into your life tomorrow, or even tonight, or whenever you watch this video? And what simple act do you think that you believe that you can implement into your life immediately? And then I and Paul, or myself exclusively, will help you to implement that into your life.
Absolutely.
And put that into your life and start to get that rolling for you, so you can start to create these healthy habits. You don't, unless you change the habits that you practice day in and day out, the belief about who you are and who you believe that you can be will never change. You need to start practicing different habits in your life in order to start making certain changes in your head up here. And these are simple things to live a longer life. It's very simple actions to take, very applicable, I think. And yeah, that's my challenge to you. What actions are you taking in your life today to live a longer life? And I'd just like to hear your feedback on that and what you believe. And if you're not, what one action do you think that you could take today, start tomorrow, and then let either Paul or I or both of us help you work through that, if you need the help, if you would like the help.
Absolutely. Anyway, I think our time has truly gone. So, look, we hope you've enjoyed it. You've maybe got something from this. If you do enjoy this, or you think it may be useful to someone, please share it with them, and show the love. Like the actual Facebook Live itself.
Please do.
Whether you're on YouTube, whether it's on the Anchor or Spotify or any of these things, you come across this. And Facebook as well, but yeah, show the love, and we'll keep doing this.
We will indeed, because we can, and we love to.
Absolutely. Yeah. So with that, we'll see you next Friday at 4 o'clock. So, and that's London time, 5 o'clock Budapest time.
Correct. Enjoy your weekend, folks. Have a beautiful one, and we look forward to hearing some fantastic feedback from you all.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. See you all later.